You felt it before. That moment when everything's moving fast and you freeze. When people around you seem to know something you don't. When decisions feel impossible and every choice looks like a trap. You're not weak, you're not broken, you're just playing a game you were never taught how to play. Most people walk through life confused. They work hard but stay invisible. They're kind but get disrespected. They're smart but somehow always lose. And they blame themselves. They think there's something wrong with them. But here's the truth. Nobody wants to say out loud. The problem isn't you. The problem is you never learned the rules. Machiavelli understood something brutal. Life isn't fair. The world doesn't reward good intentions. It rewards those who understand the game. And when you don't understand the game, you panic, you react, you give your power away without even knowing it. You become a piece on someone else's board. Think about the last time you felt overwhelmed. Was it really the situation that crushed you? Or was it the fact that you didn't see it coming? When you understand how things actually work, pressure doesn't break you. Chaos doesn't confuse you. You move differently because you see differently. Right now, there are people around you who never panic, not because their lives are easier, but because they know something you're about to learn. They see patterns where you see randomness. They see strategy where you see conflict. They see opportunity where you see a threat. The difference isn't talent, it's understanding. Comment. I see it now if you've ever felt lost but couldn't explain why. Here's what they don't tell you in school or at home or anywhere that's supposed to prepare you for the real world. Power isn't loud. It's not aggression. It's not forcing people to do what you want. Real power is something quieter. Something most people never recognize until it's too late. Machiavelli said it clearly. The man who cannot control himself will always be controlled by someone who can. Read that again, because everything you think you know about strength is probably wrong. You've been taught that power is dominance, that it's about winning arguments or intimidating people or making others submit. But that's not power. That's weakness disguised as strength. Real power starts inside. It's the ability to stay calm when everyone else is losing their mind. It's choosing your response instead of being hijacked by your emotions. It's walking into a room and not needing validation because you're not at war with yourself. Think about the people who control you, your boss, your partner, that friend who always gets their way. Do they yell? Do they threaten? Probably not. They stay composed, they wait, they let you spiral while they stay steady. And that steadiness gives them all the leverage they need. You lose power every time you react without thinking. Every time you defend yourself when you don't need to. Every time you try to prove something to someone who doesn't matter. Every time you let anger, fear, or desperation make your decisions. You hand your remote control to the world and then wonder why your life feels out of control. Self-control isn't boring. It's not suppression. It's the most dangerous weapon you'll ever own. Because the person who stays calm has options. The person who stays calm can think. The person who stays calm can't be baited, can't be rushed, can't be broken. And that terrifies people who rely on chaos to win. When you master yourself, you become untouchable, not because you're stronger than everyone, but because you're no longer fighting yourself. And when you're not divided inside, the outside world can't divide you either. Most people are reactors. They wake up and let the world happen to them. Someone cuts them off in traffic and they rage. A coworker says something passive-aggressive and they obsess for hours. A text doesn't come and they spiral. They're not living, they're being lived. Then there are strategists. They see the same situations but respond differently. They're not cold, they're not robots. They just refuse to let temporary emotions make permanent decisions. They pause, they assess, they move with intention, and because of that, they rise while everyone else stays stuck. Here's the psychological difference. Reactors operate from ego and fear. Strategists operate from clarity and purpose. Reactors need to be right in every moment. Strategists need to win in the long term. Reactors take everything personally. Strategists take everything strategically. You've seen it. Two people with the same talent, same opportunities, same starting point. One stays in the same place for years, the other quietly builds something undeniable. The difference isn't luck, it's how they process the world. The reactor sees a setback and quits. The strategist sees a setback and recalibrates. The reactor sees betrayal and becomes bitter. The strategist sees betrayal and becomes sharper. The reactor needs constant validation. The strategist validates themselves through results. Machiavelli knew this. He watched princes rise and fall, and the ones who survived weren't the nicest or the most talented. They were the ones who could think 3 moves ahead, while everyone else was stuck on move 1. They didn't just react to the game, they played it. If you're stuck, it's not because you're not trying, it's because you're reacting instead of creating. You're letting the environment shape you instead of shaping the environment. You're emotional when you need to be strategic, and that gap is costing you everything. The shift is simple, but N-O-T easy. Stop asking, why is this happening to me? Start asking, what is this teaching me? Stop defending your ego. Start protecting your future. Stop proving you're right. Start proving you're effective. That mindset shift turns you from a reactor into a strategist. And strategists don't stay stuck. People lie, not always with words, but with actions, with body language, with patterns. And if you can't read those signals, you'll spend your life confused, manipulated, and blindsided. Machiavelli understood this ruthlessly. He said, people are simple and so easily swayed by immediate needs that the deceiver will always find someone ready to be deceived. Translation: most people don't want the truth, they want comfort, and they'll believe whatever makes them feel safe, even when it's destroying them. So how do you avoid being one of them? You stop listening to what people say and start watching what they do. Words are cheap. They cost nothing. Actions cost time, energy, and truth. And truth always shows up in behavior. Someone says they respect you, but constantly interrupts you. Someone says they're your friend, but only calls when they need something. Someone says they'll change, but repeats the same pattern every time. These aren't mysteries. These are messages. And if you keep ignoring the message because you like the words, you're choosing to be deceived. Here's the skill most people never develop: pattern recognition. Not gut feelings, not wishful thinking, cold, clear observation. When someone shows you who they are repeatedly, believe the pattern, not the apology, not the explanation, the pattern. Pause and think. Who in your life talks well but acts poorly? Watch how people treat others when there's nothing to gain. Watch how they respond under pressure. Watch who they become when they think nobody's watching. That's who they really are. Everything else is performance. The Machiavellian reads people like a language. They notice inconsistencies. They track patterns over time. They don't get emotional about what they see. They just adjust accordingly. If someone shows you they're unreliable, you don't argue with them about it. You just stop relying on them. If someone shows you they're selfish, you don't try to fix them. You just protect yourself. This isn't cynicism, it's clarity. And clarity protects you from wasting years on people who were never going to show up for you. It protects you from business partners who talk big but deliver nothing. It protects you from relationships that drain you while pretending to love you. Most people ignore red flags because they want to believe in the illusion. They want the story to work out. They want the person to be who they claim to be. But wanting doesn't change reality. And ignoring patterns doesn't make them disappear. It just makes you the one who gets hurt. Read people ruthlessly, not to manipulate them, but to stop being manipulated. Not to hurt them, but to stop being hurt. When you see clearly, you move wisely. And when you move wisely, you stop ending up in situations you never should have been in. Power doesn't announce itself. It doesn't need to. Real authority is felt before it's heard. It's the person who walks into a room and shifts the energy without saying a word. It's the leader people naturally follow. It's the presence that makes others check themselves. Machiavelli wrote extensively about the power of perception. He knew that how you're seen is as important as what you do. And the people who command respect without demanding it understand something critical. Authority is granted to those who don't need it and withheld from those who beg for it. Quiet authority is built on 4 pillars: composure, consistency, standards, and silence. Let's break that down because this is where most people destroy their own power. Composure is your baseline. It's not faking confidence. It's being so grounded in who you are that external chaos doesn't shake your internal state. When everyone else is reactive, you're responsive. When everyone else is loud, you're measured. That contrast makes you magnetic. Consistency is your proof. Anyone can powerfully for a day. But the person who shows up the same way under pressure, in private, when nobody's watching, that's the person people trust. Consistency builds certainty, and certainty makes people feel safe around you. That safety translates to influence. Standards are your filter. You don't control people. You set a standard and let them choose. If they meet it, they're in. If they don't, they're out. No arguments, no negotiations, just boundaries. And boundaries without emotion are the most powerful form of communication. Silence is your weapon. You don't need to explain yourself to everyone. You don't need to defend your decisions to people who don't respect you. You don't need to fill every gap in conversation. Silence creates space. And in that space, people reveal themselves. They project, they assume, they respect what they can't fully read. When you combine these 4, something shifts. You stop chasing respect and start commanding it. You stop trying to prove your value and start embodying it. People don't question you as much because there's nothing uncertain about you. You've become a reference point, a standard, and standards don't beg for acceptance. This is why loud people rarely have lasting power. They exhaust people. They need constant attention to feel relevant. They mistake volume for authority, but the moment they stop performing, they disappear. Quiet authority doesn't disappear. It deepens, it compounds, it becomes undeniable. You don't need to be the loudest in the room. You need to be the most certain. And certainty comes from self-knowledge, self-control, and self-respect. When you have those, presence isn't something you create. It's something you are. Everything you've been taught about the battlefield is wrong. The real war isn't out there, it's inside you. Every single day you're fighting doubt, distraction, fear, and comfort. And if you lose that war, nothing else matters. Machiavelli understood this deeply. He knew that external enemies were manageable. But the internal enemy, the voice that tells you to quit, to play it safe, to wait for permission, that's the one that destroys empires before they're ever built. Most people are at war with themselves and don't even know it. They want success but sabotage their own efforts. They want respect but act in ways that invite disrespect. They want change but repeat the same patterns. The chaos isn't outside. It's between what they want and what they do. The inner war is fought on 3 fronts: impulse versus discipline, comfort versus growth, fear versus action. And every day you're choosing a side whether you realize it or not. Impulse feels good now. Discipline feels good later. Impulse is the late-night binge, the emotional text, the shortcut that costs you long-term. Discipline is the boring consistency that builds everything worth having. Most people choose impulsively because they don't see the war. They think each choice is isolated, but every choice is a vote for the person you're becoming. Comfort is a trap disguised as safety. It whispers that you've done enough, that you deserve rest, that trying is too risky. And if you listen too long, you wake up 10 years later wondering why your life looks the same. Growth requires voluntary discomfort. It requires doing what you don't feel like doing when you don't feel like doing it. That's not inspiration, that's war. Fear is the FINA. Boss. It'll dress up as logic. It'll tell you to wait for the right time. It'll remind you of every time you failed. It'll make you believe that staying small is staying safe. But fear doesn't protect you. It imprisons you. And action is the only way out. Not a perfect action, just movement. Here's the shift that changes everything. Stop seeing emotions as truth, they're signals. Data points, not commands. You can feel fear and still move forward. You can feel doubt and still execute. You can feel tired and still show up. The person who masters the inner war doesn't eliminate emotions. They just refuse to be ruled by them. This is why disciplined people seem unstoppable. They're not more talented. They're not more motivated. They've just won enough internal battles that external obstacles look small. They've built an inner fortress that chaos can't penetrate. And from that fortress, they built everything else. The world doesn't care about your feelings. It responds to your actions, and your actions are determined by who wins the war inside you. If your emotions win, you'll be stuck forever. If your discipline wins, you'll become the person you've been avoiding becoming. Talent is common, motivation is temporary, but momentum is unstoppable. And most people never build it because they confuse starting with sustaining. Machiavelli observed something brutal about power. It's not gained in moments of inspiration. It's gained in moments of persistence when nobody's watching. And nothing feels rewarding. The people who rise aren't the ones who start strong. They're the ones who refuse to stop. Here's why most people fail. They rely on feelings to fuel action. They wait to feel motivated. They wait to feel confident. They wait to feel ready. And while they wait, life passes them by. Because feelings are unreliable. They change with the weather, your sleep, and your last meal. If your movement depends on your mood, you'll never build anything. Momentum works differently. It doesn't care how you feel, it cares what you do. And once you start moving, the movement creates its own energy. The first day is hard, the second day is harder. But by day 30, you're not pushing anymore. You're being pulled. The system you've built starts carrying you. Think about the last time you quit something. It wasn't because you couldn't do it, it was because you stopped doing it. You missed one day, then two, then a week, and suddenly, starting again felt impossible. That's reverse momentum. That's gravity pulling you backwards. And most people live there, stuck in the gap between wanting and doing. Now think about something you've done consistently. Maybe it's a job you've had for years. Maybe it's a habit you can't break. Notice how easy it is? That's forward momentum. That's the compound effect of repeated action. It doesn't feel hard because you're not starting from zero every day. If you've ever quit too early, this one's for you. The Machiavellian understands this ruthlessly. Consistency isn't a personality trait, it's a weapon. It's what separates the talented from the successful. It's what turns average abilities into exceptional results. Because while everyone else is stopping and starting, riding emotional waves, you're compounding. And compounding is quiet until it's not. Here's the brutal truth. You're either building momentum or losing it. There's no neutral. Every day you don't move forward, you move backward. Not because you're getting worse, but because everyone else is getting better. Staying the same is falling behind. So how do you build unstoppable momentum? You remove decisions. You stop negotiating with yourself every morning. You stop asking if you feel like it. You create a system so simple that even on your worst day you can execute. And you protect that system like your life depends on it. Because it does. The person who works out every day isn't more motivated than you. They've just made it non-negotiable. The person who builds a business while working full-time isn't more talented than you. They've just decided that momentum matters more than comfort. The person who seems to have it all figured out, they're just moving while you're thinking about moving. Momentum isn't about giant leaps. It's about relentless inches. It's showing up when it's boring, when it's hard, when nobody's watching, when there's no reward in sight. That's where power is built. In the unseen repetition that everyone else abandons. You don't need motivation, you need momentum. And momentum doesn't start with a feeling, it starts with a decision, followed by action, followed by more action, until the action becomes who you are. At some point, the game changes. You stop chasing, you start attracting, you stop proving, you start choosing, you stop asking for a seat at the table, you build your own table. And that shift doesn't happen because you got lucky. It happens because you became unignorable. Machiavelli wrote about this in terms of princes and power, but the principle applies to you. Become so effective, so consistent, so undeniable, that the world has to adjust to you instead of you adjusting to the world. That's the ultimate form of power, and it's available to anyone willing to build it. Being unignorable isn't about fame. It's not about being loud or flashy or everywhere. It's about building a reputation so solid that opportunities come to you. It's about creating options so abundant that you're never desperate. It's about positioning yourself so strategically that saying no becomes easy. Most people are ignorable, not because they're not talented, but because they're inconsistent, reactive, and forgettable. True. Do good work sometimes. They show up when it's convenient. They blend into the background. And then they wonder why they're overlooked. Here's what makes someone unignorable. Results that speak louder than words. A track record that removes doubt. A presence that commands respect without demanding it. Standards so high that mediocrity feels uncomfortable around them. And movement so consistent that betting against them feels foolish. Think about the people you can't ignore in your life. The ones you respect even if you don't like them. What do they have in common? They don't beg for attention. They don't need validation. They show up, execute, and let the work speak. And because they're not desperate, people chase them. That's the shift. Positioning is everything. It's not just what you do, it's how you're perceived. And perception is controlled through consistency, selectivity, and strategic visibility. You don't say yes to everything. You say yes to what aligns. You don't explain yourself to everyone. You let your results explain. You don't chase every opportunity. You create the conditions where opportunities chase you. Reputation isn't built in a day. It's built on 1,000 small decisions. How you handle conflict. How do you treat people when there's nothing to gain? How you show up when nobody's watching? How you respond to failure? How do you carry success? Every interaction is either building your reputation or eroding it. And once it's built, it works for you, even when you're not in the room. Options equal power. When you have one path, you're desperate. When you have 10 paths, you're dangerous. Because you can walk away from anything that doesn't serve you. You can negotiate from abundance instead of scarcity. You can take risks because failure doesn't destroy you. And that freedom makes you bold in ways that desperate people can never be. The unigner. Able person doesn't need the job. They're the job security. They don't need the relationship. They're the prize. They don't need the opportunity. They create the opportunity. And that shift in energy changes everything. Because when you're not needy, people feel it, and they adjust accordingly. This is the endgame Machiavelli understood. Power isn't taken. It's built, slowly, quietly, through relentless execution and strategic positioning. And once it's built, you don't have to fight for respect anymore. You've become the standard, and standards don't beg. They just exist. And the world reorganizes around them. So here we are. You've seen the game. You know the rules. You understand the principles. And now there's only one question left. What are you going to do with this? Because knowledge without action is just entertainment. You can watch 100 videos, read 1,000 books, understand every psychological principle ever written, and still stay exactly where you are. Or you can decide right now that knowing isn't enough. That understanding changes nothing unless it changes you. Machiavelli didn't write for people who wanted to feel smart. He wrote for people who wanted to win. And winning requires one thing above everything else: commitment. Not the kind that lasts a week, the kind that lasts until you become the person you're capable of being. Most people live small, not because they have to, but because it's easier. Easier to blend in than stand out, easier to follow than lead, easier to react than create, easier to stay comfortable than grow powerful, and every day they choose easy, they vote for a life they'll eventually resent. You know what you're tolerating right now: the disrespect, the mediocrity, the fear, the excuses, the version of yourself that keeps playing small because playing big feels too risky. You know, and knowing means you can't pretend any more. You can't hide behind ignorance. You've seen the mirror, and now you have to choose. Here's the choice: Keep living the way you've been living and hope things magically change, or commit fully to becoming someone the world can't ignore. Commit to self-control when everyone else is reactive. Commit to strategy when everyone else is emotional. Commit to momentum when everyone else is starting and stopping. Commit to the inner war even when it's brutal and lonely and unrewarding. This isn't motivation. This is a confrontation. Because if you're honest with yourself, you already know you're capable of more. You've felt it. In those quiet moments when you're alone and the excuses fall away. You've seen glimpses of who you could be if you stopped betraying yourself. And that version of you is waiting, not for permission, not for the right time, just for commitment. The people who rise aren't special, they're just done negotiating. They've made the decision once and they've stopped revisiting it. They've committed to the process even when the results aren't visible yet. They've chosen discipline over comfort so many times that it's no longer a choice. It's just who they are. You can become that. Not someday. Today. Right now. With the next decision you make, the next action you take, the next time you choose execution over excuses. Power isn't reserved for a select few. It's available to anyone willing to pay the price. And the price is simple. Stop being at war with yourself. Stop waiting for perfect conditions. Stop looking for shortcuts. Just commit and move. If this opened your eyes, don't just watch and leave. Like and subscribe, not for motivation, but as a signal to yourself that you're done living small, that you're choosing the path of the strategist over the reactor, that you're committing to becoming unignorable. Drop this in the comments. I see the game now. Because when you see it, you can't unsee it. And when you can't unsee it, you can't keep playing the same way. The game is real, the rules are clear, and you've just learned them. Now the only question is whether you'll play to win or keep pretending you never wanted to play at all. Choose wisely, because time doesn't stop, and every day you delay is a day you'll never get back. When you understand the game, you don't panic, you play. And when you play with clarity, strategy, and relentless commitment, you don't just survive, you dominate. Now go build that.